in the next 45 minutes, we really want to hear from you. This will be interactive and there'll be opportunities for you to input some ideas that you have so that the others in the webinar can hear from you too. There's lots of educators here with lots of great ideas, and hopefully you will leave with some great ideas that you can use tomorrow. So let's work together today to have a great math conversation, and a conversation that can support educators across Canada. So we're going to take a quick look at the math research and how it informed Mathology. We're going to take another quick look at how Mathology supports learning, and we're going to take a longer look at Mathology as a professional learning tool to support searching, planning, teaching, and assessing. So up front, about the background and the research that underpins it, and then we'll go into Mathology.ca for a quick look at different pieces that in today's education world. Miranda, I'm going to backtrack.
Yes.
Try to backtrack.
You're going forward.
Yeah, I know. It's not backtracking for me. There we go. Now you see what's coming up. I'm going to leave it here. Miranda's just going to put a quick poll up just to find out how many are current users of Mathology.ca. It just helps me as I go through the next, reorient where I spend more time. And how long have you been, if you are a user, how long have you used Mathology.ca? And if you could just put your vote in there, and once we see everybody vote, we'll continue.
Oh, it feels like a race. We're almost half and half, current users and non-current users. But of those current users, majority are less than a month. So thank you so much. And you can continue to cast your vote as we move on.
Great. So let's take a look at, it's flying ahead of me here. Just to take a moment to, it's hopefully the end of your workday. Relax your shoulders and just put in the chat pod how you're feeling about education today. So you may be a teacher, you may be a consultant, you may be a principal, you may be another role in education. So just quickly put in the chat pod how you're feeling about teaching and learning today.
All right, so we're hearing words like proud, a bit overwhelmed.
And you can continue putting those feelings in there as along, and that you need for today, and tuck the others aside for a time when you need it. But this was a beautiful illustration by Soyen, one of the wonderful ladies that works at Pearson. She put together some of her illustrations to just remind ourselves about self-care tips, and hopefully there's at least one of those that you've done for yourself today. And so let's start with just an overview about what Mathology is, and especially for those that are brand new to Mathology. The bottom four things about research and learning progression and professional learning resources and professional services are the things that underpin Mathology resources. So there's been research, there is a learning progression, there's great professional resources that go further into depth of math concepts and there's ongoing professional services that support the math little books, K to 3, the Mathology.ca digital that is currently in grade 1 and 2 and grade 3 coming in the fall, and the activity kits, both print and digital. So let's take a further look at how all these things come about. So it is research based, that it's based on a learning progression and based on academic and classroom research, that all these activities have been academically researched and classroom tested with real children in real classrooms. And it really gives a solution that actually fits within the classroom context. And there's math academic research underpinning. So there has been a full research summary, and that's available, Math Success for All. You can just Google that, it's available online. The mathematics learning progression is, this one is a K to 3 learning progression for the K to 3 Mathology.ca, and a 4 to 9 will be out soon. And all the professional learning resources, with the newest one being the What to Look For Facilitator's Guide by Alex Lawson. And so this learning progression is a step-by-step look at the stages of knowledge and skill construction that the learner goes through. And the one that we use currently in Mathology.ca goes from kindergarten to grade 3. And it is organized by strands. Within those strands, there are 13 big ideas that are then further broken down into 2 or 3 conceptual threads each. And then they have indicators along the way that show that across the grades. And this was developed by Lynn McGarvey and reviewed by educators and researchers across Canada. And so this is one of the conceptual threads that show the big idea at the top, and some of the conceptual threads underpinning it. So this big idea has 2 conceptual threads: developing conceptual meaning of addition and subtraction, and then developing fluency. And when we look at the trajectory, it shows from kindergarten over to grade 3, and this takes into account all the curriculums across Canada. So the learning progression is research-based in that it took a variety of research pieces, a variety of curriculums, and looked together to see what does that map look like from kindergarten to grade 3 across Canada. And so it was built for and by the math community, and it really does reflect the diversity of Canadians. So you can see here from the numbers, it's a lot of people that have been involved, including First Nation, Métis, Inuit consultants and reviewers. Some of them are actual writers of the little books, and over 1,000 educator voices between the writers and the reviewers. And one Ontario grade 1 teacher talks about that it really shows that the research knowledge that's used and what's known about math and how to teach math. So we've seen, and I've seen over my year here, and before that I did some writing for Mathology.ca, Mathology in general, that it really does empower teachers. And so today we're going to take a look at Mathology.ca. This is the online tool that all, in addition to this, but we're going to take a look at how it's a searching tool, a planning tool, a teaching tool, an assessing and tracking tool, and a professional learning tool. And it is all aligned to Canadian curriculum. It has rich lessons, it has pedagogical supports, and even if the curriculum changes, as it may in a couple of provinces, it's easy to tag the lessons to the new curriculum because it is based on a learning progression. So within Mathology.ca, look at a variety of lessons that are curriculum focused, they're developmentally appropriate. What I've seen with kids, they really are engaging. I'm going to highlight how they're perfect for at-home and online use, and they are supported by short professional learning how-to videos. And so we see sometimes it's little books, sometimes it's line masters, sometimes it's teaching supports, sometimes they're little videos. I'm going to go through and kind of show you how all that works together. So Miranda's going to quickly put up a poll. So again, based on your needs, I can better orient where I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes or so. So what's most important to you today? Is it about searching for curriculum activities? Is it about providing differentiated opportunities? Is it about supporting teachers to learn along, providing formative assessment opportunities? Or is it something totally other than this?
All right, Kim. So providing engaging differentiated learning seems to be winning, but of course a close second is supporting teachers along the way. And we're seeing searching with activities that are aligned to curriculum.
Great. So thank you. And if there's a few more that still want to add their little tick to it, you're more than welcome to do that. So what I'm going to do is show you my messy tabs because today was a very busy day and I didn't necessarily pull up the tabs as needed. So all I did to find my spot here was mine goes automatically, Mathology.ca, and I find my entrance. If you're not a current or registered user of Mathology, I'm going to show you in a little bit how you can get your free subscription from now until the end of June. Please sign in. Mine might go automatically because I have been here today. And it did, mine went through automatically. Normally there might be a password, but I've obviously who I was. So this is the front page that anybody sees on their screen when they pull up. You have the opportunity, if you're a new user, you may see some pinned things here, like a plan or a book. Up at the top is a way to navigate between, this is the home screen, planning, analytics, help. The help tool is a great tool because if you click it, I'm going to go really quickly here. It's got on the left-hand side lots of places for you to go to for some quick help.
Kim,
And yep,
can I just interrupt you for just a quick sec? Can you make your screen a little bit larger, just full screen? It's just not reaching the whole way. There we go. Awesome. Thank you.
that looks better. And then on the home page right now, there's often like a little orange little icon there that kind of alerts you to maybe some new things to think about. There's a link to the Mathology little books that parents and children can have access to, and I'll go to that in a minute. And a link, daily webinar series, by just clicking there. You can just click on the Zoom between 11 and 12 Eastern time, and you'll find me sitting there for office hours. And so sometimes that changes, but just take a look up there and those links are helpful to find things. So as I said at the beginning, this is a searching tool. Let's take a look at search. So let's say I can search by keyword, and I might, if I spell things right, I might be looking at trying to find some fluency ideas. And so when I look at fluency ideas, just typically there is a lot of activities there. So in addition to the top way that we can kind of find things, there's also sorting tools that are along here. So I am going to sort by grade. I'm going to select grade 2. I am going to select an activity, and I'm just going to keep it to the number strand. And so when I look at that, I'm going to come up with a lot less results. So it's a lot more fine-tuned. I've got 5 results here. So when I take a look at an activity, I could easily think, okay, here's a good one, operational fluency. I can click into that and find a lesson. And I'm going to come, but whenever I'm going back, there's this nice big arrow here that allows me just to flip back to where I was. It's an easy back button that's nice and big. So in searching, I can search by keyword. I can also search by curriculum. And let's say I am going to grade 2. I'm thinking about number sense, and let's say I'm looking at an overall expectation. And mine currently shows Ontario because I'm in Ontario, but when you open yours up, your curriculum from whatever province you're in will show for you. And so there's my overall expectation. I'm going to go down to a specific expectation. And let's say I'm still working on solving problems. I'm just going to make sure, yep, it's grade 2. I'm going to think I can look at activities in little books, and I'm going to just make sure that they're all numbered. So there, what happens is my little books come up at the beginning, and you start noticing after a little bit that anything is in this vertical type of look, that's a little book, but then a lot of these horizontal things are actually activity cards. And then right beside it, it tells you if it's a little book or it tells you if it's an activity, and it gives you a little hint about what it's about. So it's easy to pick something according to the curriculum. So again, this big back button helps me go back to wherever I want to go back to at the beginning. And I can search by learning progression if I like. And so the grayed out areas are the big ideas, and underlying it are conceptual threads. So I can find another developing addition and subtraction fluency. Here's my green button, and again, activities will show up according to what is covered in that learning progression section. So we've taken a look at how to search by curriculum, by keyword, by learning progression, always coming back to this home page. So let's say I was looking at fluency. And so we want to think about, well, what is available for teaching? What activity might be helpful for teaching? So I'm just going to take a activity, operational fluency. The first page gives lots of information about curriculum and about pieces. And the place I'm going to bring you to right now is this little grayed out section here. There's activity, it gives about, details, assessment, and related resources. So the details are exactly like the card. So these are also available. And so if we just take a quick look what the card might give, and just take a look for yourself. And I'm just going to scroll down slowly, and I'll scroll back. In this activity, what features might be helpful for you as a teacher, as an educator, as a consultant, as a supporter of teacher learning, whatever role you're in? Aspects of this that are helpful to you in your role.
And just as you're doing that, Kim, just a reminder that all of this is available in French. It will look exactly the same on the platform. For today, we're going through in English, but all the same functions and features, just en français.
And so there's lots of helpful, and the couple I'm going to point out is in the what to do section, these activities can be quickly adapted for at-home use. So here it's a partner game, but it might be a game that is worked with a parent. And then it has all the line masters that are associated with that. So here's a quick line master that can be downloaded as a PDF or made in a Word and then changed according to however you need to change it. And so here's another recording sheet for the actual activity where a student can record their work and show it back again. So in this activity, let's take a look at details. If I scroll now to the bottom, it gives the teaching card here. So I might want to print that or put it in a place that I have handy for my. It gives me the assessment, or what we call the back of the card in print, but it shows starting at the left-hand side, going to the right-hand side, uh, more information based on the learning progression of the things I might see in the student thinking. And then it also sometimes gives me an example of the student work or what the line master looked like. In addition to that, there's always usually an on that virtually with in the classroom, this is often teachers use this in a smart board, but it can be used in a virtual aspect by using different number lines, counting tools, relation activities will have different online tools attached to them. And then each activity has a learning highlight video on the right-hand side and a learning connection. So a learning connection is a longer video, again, highlighting the learning. Highlight video helps us as educators think about what type of student thinking do I need to think about for this. So what I'm going to do is actually just play this. They're all
how we might use mental math strategies to and to solve number sentences with greater numbers. Do students see how the known doubles to 10 can be extended to greater numbers? Well, knowing that double 3 is 6 helps us know that double 30 is 60. Some students may have mastered the make 10 strategy with numbers to 10, but have difficulty to numbers that are greater than 10. For example, 19 plus 23 could be solved mentally by taking 1 away from 23 and giving it to 19 to make 20, then adding 20 to 22 to get 42. Encourage students to use their estimates to help them see whether their answers are reasonable. For example, since 19 is close to 20 and 23 is also close to 20, our estimate is 20 plus 20, or 40. The answer 42 is reasonable because 42 is. For those students who require additional support on decomposing 10, refer to Intervention Activity 13.
each activity has one of those cards. And quickly, I'm going to go to related resources. So it has mini lessons that, let's say, some of the children need, some just want to differentiate for small group instruction. It gives the lesson here with the actual line masters that are needed. And it also provides extension. So if you've got some students that are further along than this, again, it gives a great mini lesson. Everything is written out, and the uh, line masters are right there by clicking. And then it gives next steps in class, and also within this, there's always a next step at home. So this is easily used in today's environment where you think about the concept being shown here. Here's 3 particular activities that for parents that can be easily transferred to however you're communicating with your community. This could also, anything with the green button can be printed out, put into a PDF, and worked that way. So this is a really good place, as well as the line masters, to have ready-made activities. And again, as Miranda said, everything that is here in English is in French. It has been adapted for French. So sometimes when we go to little books and stuff, the names of the characters and sometimes the context is slightly different because they're not translated, they are adapted for French. So I'm going to go back here on my big back arrow. And I was looking for fluency. And I just wanted to take a look and see at the little books. So within K-3, there are 72 little books. And when you register a paid subscription for Mathology.ca, you actually get access to all the grades. For the trial, I believe you have to just say what grade you're in currently, just the way it's organized. But let's just take a look at Array's Bakery. So it gives about the book, it gives details about the book, and if I want to actually use the little book, there's the link right there. And as a teacher, I can use this. And we have another website currently available for free till the end of June where students can actually access this. So these books are actually great for home use. Read and listen function.
At 6:30 in the morning, Array turns on the lights in his bakery.
When students click on their link, they can actually see this on their computers also. And then in addition, what I love about these little books is it's always got to try this activity. So this is an online activity that gives suggestions of what to do with the pieces that are in that online activity. And there's always a nice little parent-teacher note here to just kind of give a little bit more information. But it is, again, a great activity that really focuses on the math and the math learning that's there. And so all these books are there for you, and I will show you in a bit how the students actually access theirs. And then the last thing I am going to show you is we're back to the operational fluency, this lesson that we were looking at earlier that gives all the information and some Line Masters interactive tool. It also has an assessment feature. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but basically this is the learning progression and the aspects of the mathematics that are in this task. And I can simply load up, it takes a minute to load my students in. And if, let's say, I was sums and differences, but really that estimate is unreasonable, I can put Jonathan in that category and it directly timestamps. And there's also a class feature where it will show me all the activities that I've done that way. I've loaded my kids in, and sometimes it takes a bit for this to come in. There we go. And it gives a variety of ways of looking at my class and what they've done and what they haven't done. So that analytic tool is there. We're not really spending a lot of time on that currently. So we've taken a look at searching, we've taken a look at using an activity, the types of things that are available in today's world that are helpful. And the last thing in here I'd like to show you is the planning tool. So again, I'm going up to the top bar. This is the planning tool, analytics. It's when I want to get to those big chunks within Mathology.ca. Please disregard what I'm scrolling through at first because this is a demo thing. And so I'm going to go down here. When you go into yours, you will see a section called sample plans. Sometimes it takes 10-15 seconds to load in because there is a lot of information. And you'll see different sample long-range plans. So these are for the full year. There's some sample weekly plans. And I'm going to go right down to purposeful practice. And this might be reworded in the next while as foundational skills. But this is, if you're brand new and you want to use it in today's world, you might want to go to the grade 1 or the grade 2 purposeful practice, because we've taken some of the key components or the foundational skills that are important for, you know, long legs in mathematics for the next year. And we've kind of put them together, mostly number, in this little package. Again, it gives a really easy starting place where it gives the math topic and then some little books and some activities to choose from. And so it makes finding what you need maybe a little bit easier, especially for new users. And then again, on the bottom of that plan is the Ask Me Anything webinar series details. So if you have any questions from 11 to 12 Eastern time, you just log in there and you can ask me or whoever is there for that information. So again, I am just going to go back to my home page, and Up at the top is where I find my plan. I go to all plans, and when I scroll down, I will find what's called purposeful practice or foundational skills. You'll see that plan there. And so what's happened is I can take a look at it. I'm going to press this green button. I'm going to use that plan because right now it's available for everybody. Once I save it as my plan, then I can start moving things around. I think, oh, I want to start with counting. I just use my arrows, move them up and down. I think, I don't really want to do a consolidation at this point, so I'm not going to do that lesson. I might want to add in a non-mathology lesson that is in my Google Drive. As long as it's got anything with a URL, I can add it in. I might want to add in an online tool. So the planning feature is really helpful at this point. So again, I'm going to go back, my big back button, that big one there, and I'm back to my home page. So in this Mathology.ca, it's got all the little books, it's got all the planning and the other features that are helpful. So I'm going to quickly...
Can I interrupt for just 2 seconds?
Yep.
Before you leave the platform, we do have a question about uploading students in the student management system. Can you just show very quickly, in your teacher, how to upload your students?
Okay. So
I'm just going to address privacy really quickly. As you go in and Kim shows us how to upload your class, you're going to go click your student management. And here's where you're able to upload your class. Now you'll see I've built a demo class in here, but when you go in, you're able to label your students in any way that you'd like, especially for privacy concerns. So you can call your class what you'd like. You might use initials, you might use code names, you might use student numbers. That's up to you. But each one of those can be added in any way that you'd like. So you determine how you're naming your students and you select the grade, and that works especially well for combined grades. And then all that data is actually stored in Canada, but we do have more information. If you need something formal, we can connect you with details about that. But just so that you know that you're in control of how you name your class and your students.
And currently you can add notes with words, but there is no place to add any photographs. That's a good question. Thank you. And again, we can connect more if you want more information on that analytics. So we've taken a look a little bit at the little books, some line masters, how-to videos. A lot of the actual activities have student cards that are like really fun and engaging. And then just really easy planning that we know, especially when we're looking across the grades, that we know that they follow important math concepts. So if this is used as a division, we can ensure our students are going to move along that continuum, because from teacher to teacher, they are using the same base research that actually moves them along that continuum. So let's just take a minute, and in the chat pod, if you can just quickly type in there something that you found helpful that you could use tomorrow or the tomorrow after that.
And so Kim, along the way, people have been adding into there, noting things like differentiation or the videos that they found really helpful, but we'll give people a chance to add in anything else they may have seen. So Evelyn has a question about attaching pieces of this to Google Classroom. We will address copyright concerns and things like that in just a few moments, but you're able to download, like Kim said, some of the line masters, and then you can attach them into your Google Classroom. Unfortunately, at this time, you can't directly upload them, so you'll have to download it first and then upload it into your platform. So we're hearing things like the math games could be really helpful. The videos are really helpful. That's
Great,
fantastic.
and you can just type them in. So just as a recap, Mathology.ca allows you to search. It allows you to plan long range and some short range plans, add and remove lessons, and upload non-mathology lessons as long as they have a URL. It allows you to teach, and what some people have been talking about is that differentiation piece. Right within the card, it talks about accommodations, extensions, combined grades. It gives the at-home practice and intervention lessons. It allows assessment and tracking at an individual level and looking at a class level. And there's professional learning right attached to the actual activity, and also a bigger picture about the learning progression using the resources that are in Mathology.ca. And so Mathology.ca includes all of the following. It's got all these activities, books, learning progression, professional learning videos, and the English grade 3 is coming in the fall 2020. Currently, Miranda, you can correct me, Mathologie en français is available grade 1 currently, grade 2. Is that the fall, Miranda?
Grade 2 in the fall, yes.
Grade 2 Mathologie in the fall. And so just quickly for later information, this is the pricing for the subscription or a 5-year, and there's also combined grades available, and there's bundle pricing when it's actually purchased with the actual print books or the print activity kits. And so all this is available to you. Some of you at the beginning, we've seen, okay, yes, you're already in, you've got your subscription. Those that don't have a subscription, you can just go to pearsonmathology.ca and you register right there for your subscription. And on the left-hand side, right on that website, are line masters, but more importantly, are curriculum correlations. So they're just there for every province and grades K to 3 for the little books and for the activity cards. To go there for curriculum correlations is helpful. So this is what Miranda was talking about earlier, about how to use these in today's online environment. That please don't download everything and put it on your hard drive. Take what you need only and when you need it. You're able to use this information with your students in a way that they have to log in to access it. So there's no posting on boards or websites. And this access is available just until the end of June. And the little books are actually available at pearsoncanada.ca at home. And maybe Miranda, if you can just type that into the chat pod so they have the direct link. And if you search, there's 4 or 5 that will show, but the button on the right-hand side will scroll. And every week we put 2 new books up, and included in that obviously is the direct link to the book and the activity. Both English and French are there for all those books, and the Connecting Home and School letter is written for parents for home activities. They have not been adapted from classroom activities. They are at-home activities, again in English and French. The English one is showing, but the French toggle button is just on the top right-hand side. You can see on my screen, the dark blue says English, but the white says Francais. It's easy to toggle and easy to send those, either the big URL from this site or individual URLs to parents as you're working through the different activities. Also on that website are Mathology success stories from different educators, from teachers, principals, superintendents. So if you want to see what other people are doing with Mathology, just click on that website and go to Mathology success stories and you'll find some of those ideas. So coming soon, grade 3 is coming, August 2020. It's really exciting. We've seen great classroom testing of this. And so there is student-facing activity kits. Teaching activities will be in Mathology.ca. Again, there are the little books, and there will be, in addition, math mats, which are wipe-offable. I'm not sure we've got the right word for it. You can use a whiteboard marker and they can be wipe offable, and they're
Dry erase, dry erase.
dry erase, dry erase.
That's great.
Pages for students to use in a variety of ways. Miranda, how many are for the grade 3?
So it's actually a 3-4 combination, and I believe there are 34 tools.
All different ones. And again, it's flexible. Within Mathology.ca, all these pieces can be found or printed or used or projected. But then there's also the print pieces that are the dry erase and the activity kits that have engaging games and activities to work with students. And so we see that there's all these aspects to Mathology.ca that can be used in a variety of ways for a variety of purposes. We've heard one teacher basically say that when they first started Mathology.ca is, I teach as I learn and learn as I teach. So you can start anywhere along there and find a great place wherever you are and whatever you need. So we really appreciate your time here. We know that these days are very busy between home and school, and your time is very valuable, and we just so appreciate you spending time together with us today. If you could take a minute, it actually takes only 1 to 2 minutes. There's only, I think, 4 questions that are often a little dot to tick, to just give us some feedback on what might be needed next for you or for your colleagues that come after you. And then in a minute, I am going to wrap up.
So I put the link directly in the chat for everyone that might be looking for it.
Thanks. And as you're just filling out that quick survey, if you want more information, we have our account reps that are associated with the different boards and the different provinces that you can find your place and your name there, and just take a screenshot or write it out so that you have the person, your next best person, your next best friend to call for any information. And again, the Ask Me Anything time is available for you. Our Pearson website will have ongoing webinars for you. And again, I just want to thank you for your time with us. And if there's any last questions as we wrap up, if you can type them into the chat pod. And if Miranda needs me to answer any, I can answer them. Otherwise, she can just answer them as we go. And it is, I've got 4:45 right on the dot on my clock. So we appreciate your time with us, and wish you a good night and a good week. And if there's anything we can do to help you use Mathology.ca with your students, we'd love to help. And our Twitter hashtag, I don't know if it's on here, I never thought about that. Nope. Is generally just hashtag Mathology or hashtag math is fun. And you can go onto Twitter and find what other teachers are doing with Mathology. So thanks and have a great night. We're going to be on for the next few minutes if you have any further questions.